For the contents indicators on Krampitz tank containers, different measuring systems are used, from purely mechanical to fully electronic. Here we will show you how the systems work. The dipstick is the simplest variant of a contents indicator. Simple, robust, and fail-safe, it shows the level on the scale. The division here is in centimeters. The dipstick hangs vertically in the tank and is surrounded by a pipe. To read the level, you look to where the scale is wetted, as here in the example at 10 centimeters. With the supplied bearing chart, you can now use the fill level to read off the tank volume in liters or in percent. These content indicators are simple, robust, and function purely mechanically. They permanently show the tank content as soon as liquid is in the tank. On the scale between 0, empty, and 100%, full, the current level can be read off. According to the level, the float arm in the tank rises or falls. This movement is transferred via a gear to the pointer of the display. The mechanics positioned in the tank are completely decoupled from the pointer display on the outside. The rotary movement is transmitted by means of a magnet. The float indicators with float arm are used with all of our single-walled day tanks, TTE 50 to TTE 990, with a tank height of 300 to 800 millimeters. The float content indicator with thread float also works mechanically. The indicator float hangs on a nylon thread and is coupled to a gear and the needle via a pulley connected to the level indicator. A spiral spring keeps the pulley under tension. The float content indicator with thread float are used with all of our day tanks, with a tank height up to 1.5 meters. The thread of the display is automatically wound up by the spring tension when the fill level rises and automatically wound down when the fill level drops. Here too, if necessary, the exact number of liters in the level indicator can be determined with an exact bearing table. The electronic float contents indicator permanently shows the tank content, and this extremely precisely. With our tank containers, it is installed behind the manhole, right next to the dipstick, and is read out via the central control of the container. The measuring instrument is able to evaluate two floaters at the same time. The red float indicates the level of the medium measured, and the green float shows the level of condensation on the floor. The filling levels are specified accurately to the millimeter and can also be converted into liters. The electronic content indicator installed in the tank roof via ultrasonic sensor permanently shows the tank content. The functional principle is simple but extremely precise and is also used in tool making. The device emits ultrasonic waves which are reflected from the media surface and so come back to the ultrasonic sensor. Via the signal transit time, that is the time between sending and receiving the ultrasound, the filling level can be determined. We have tested this with a multimeter measuring device. On the blue and brown cable, we have the operating voltage. 12 volts are connected. Now we connect the measuring device to the signal line of the sensor. We measure the amperage. The measuring range is between 4 to 20 milliamps. Now, if we change the distance to the table surface, the amperage also changes. This sensor works both with liquid as well as with solid surfaces. The respective amperage shows the distance between the surface and sensor. So the exact level of the medium in the tank can be determined in the electronic evaluation device of the sensor. This value can be shown in percent, level, or optionally in liters. Content indicators at Krampitz. Always know what's in the tank. Krampitz Tanksystem. Cubically good.